Welcome back to digital class, and now we're looking at this summary revision for Booklet R2. So basically all the students should have done this worksheet, and now I'm discussing this. So please make sure you have your green pen with you to do the correction if you get it wrong. Okay? Now feel free to skip to the question that you're not really sure how to do, or the question that you did wrongly. Okay? Or of course, if you want to do a quick revision for the whole Booklet R2, feel free to watch the video. Okay? Now let's look at the first question, which is from the pattern concept type 1 number or shape pattern. Again, when you see a question like this with this number or shape pattern, you should immediately remember the rules that I've shared with you, which is what? Which is the targeted number and divide by the number of item in one set. So in this case, you know that this 92 definitely is my targeted number. And what is my number of in one set? Then we need to find out. Okay, let's look at this question. A pattern is formed using the numbers 3, 5, 7, 8, and the first 70 numbers of a number pattern are given below. So we can see here is 5, 8, 7, 3, 3, 5, 8, 7, 3, 3, 5, 8, 7, 3, 3, 5, 8. So we can kind of notice that 5, 8, 7, 3, 3 is what that is being repeated here. And of course, this is what I call it as one set. Now, in one set, how many items or how many numbers do we have here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have 5 items here. So this basically tells you that my targeted number is 92. It will divide by the number of items in one set, which is 5. So in this case, what you are supposed to do is to use 92 divided by 5. So 1 times 5, 5. 42, 8 times 5, 40. And with that, I know my remainder is 2. So it's 18 remainder 2. And this 2 basically tells you is the second item in the set. What is the second item? I know it's number 8. So the answer is what? 8, which is option number 4. And you are supposed to shade it using 2B pencil. Okay, this is something we have learned. If you feel confused, feel free to go back to the previous question, a previous video that we have actually done. Now, let's move on to the second one. Pattern concept type 2, which is grid pattern. Now, grid pattern is basically that the one that you come with a table, as you can see, and it organizes all the numbers here for you. Now, sometimes I might blank some of the boxes here, but that doesn't really matter. The way of us solving is the same. And you should remember, when it comes to grid pattern, our formula basically is targeted number, and we're supposed to divide by the loyal number. Now, again, some of you might confuse again, teacher, what does it mean by the loyal number? Now, the loyal number basically means that the number and its multiple will always stay in the same column. Again, same column means that it will always stay at the same place. Now, for example, if I say the number is 3, the loyal number is 3, means that number 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, all of this will stick to the same column. Means that, example, if 3 is in column A, 6, 9, 12, 15, all will be in the same column. Okay? It doesn't matter that is it the next one or is it skipping one, it doesn't matter, but it must stay in the same column. Now, example, if the multiples is 5, it will be what? 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. Now, these are all the number and the multiples. Okay? Now, let's try to see what are the loyal number in this case. Why? Because targeted number is very simple. It's just 1, 2, 2, 1, right? So 1, 2, 2, 1 is supposed to be dividing the loyal number. Now, let's try to check. Is 2 loyal number? You see, 2, 4, 6, 8. Now, the number 2 is definitely not, because all the multiples are going anywhere. No, they must be loyal. They must stay at the same column. Okay? Now, how about 3? 3, 6, 9. I mean, definitely not, right? Because it's going to different places already. How about 4? If you see 4, 4, 8, 12. Of course, it's not loyal. It's going to 3 different columns already. Okay. And how about 5? 5, 10, 15, 20. Now, you notice that this 5 and its multiples is staying in the same column. That's why I know that 5 is actually my loyal number. Loyal number. Now, do you get the idea? That is how we actually find the loyal number. Now, and what do you need to do? The same thing, we divide. 1, 2, 2, 1, divide by 5. So 5 times 2, 10. And there's 22 here, so 4 times 5, 20. And there's 21 here, so 4 times 5, 20. Now, what did you get here? My remainder here is 1. And what you have learned is that 1, if it's in column A, means column A. 1, if it's in column B, means 1. So we need to find out where is it. But the problem here is we don't have that 1 here. So, of course, if you want to really put the number 1, right, we also can try to put. Let's see here. Here is 17, right? The previous number is where? 16 is up here. 12 is here, right? The previous number is where? 11 here. 7, the previous number is where? 6 here. So 2, where is the previous number? Will be 1 here. So as you can see, 1 is at column E. So I know the answer is definitely column E. Now, or sometimes some of you are a bit hard to visualize this, but the easiest way is what? Do you notice that 1, 6, 1, 6, 1, 6 is keep on staying at the same column? Yes, right. That's why the answer definitely is E. And some of you also notice that, hey teacher, this is 1, so definitely E, right? Yeah, you also can find the way. But it's not all the time. That's why I'm still teaching you this whole structural method, because it's not every time like this, okay? Or another way to do that is like this. Now, this is important. Sometimes you might not see the number in the column, in the table, so it's a bit hard to find out. But what you can do is, you can just use this remainder 1 plus the number 5 here. Okay, again, whatever number here plus here. So 1 plus 5 is what? 6. And where is 6? 6 is in column E. That's why the answer is column E. Okay? So now, again, that is basically how these things works. So you actually have learned all this in class, or you can watch the video to learn. And in class, we talk about the restaurant, right? Who is loyal to that restaurant? Yeah. Okay, so now let's move on to the next question. Again, we are moving on to the next one, which is pattern concept type 4. So as I shared with you, pattern concept type 3, we didn't do about that, but we talked about type 4. Now, let's look at this question. The diagram shows the first 3 figures in the sequence of squares with shaded pattern. So you can see figure 1, 2, 3. And I think that you are kind of able to guess how is figure 4 looks like, because it's basically creating a new one, right? Let me just draw figure 4 here. So figure 4 will be looking like this. And I know that this will be shaded, right? So let me just shade it. So figure 4 kind of look like this. Why? Because it's like shaded, then the next one will not shaded, the third one not shaded, not shaded, shaded, not shaded, shaded. So figure 4 will be somehow looking like this. Okay? Now, what is the number of shaded squares for figure 4? I already have 6 here. So 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So I know I have 15 shaded square. What about the number of unshaded square? I mean, I'm adding shaded square. So unshaded square should remain the same. And total number, of course, you can just add yourself, or you can just add 15 plus 10, 25. Now, this is something kind of simple, so you should be able to find out based on that, okay? But let's move on and look at the next part. Now, do you still remember that we have actually studied about these things to check? Now, as I've told you, pattern concept type 4, there are just too many different possibilities with all the answer. So the better way is that I always suggest you to find out this. Go through this list, things to check, so that you are able to actually recognize some of the patterns, the common pattern. The first one, is there a link between the figure number and the given number? This basically means that you are checking here. 1 and 1, is it related? 2, 6, 3, 6, 4, 15? Not really. How about 1, 3, 2, 3, 3, 10, 4, 10? Not related. How about 1, 4, 2, 9, 3, 16, 4, 25? Probably not, because 1 times 4 is 4, right? 2 times 4 is 8, it's not 9. So it does not have a strong connection at this point of time. Next one, is there an arithmetic sequence? Did you see any arithmetic sequence here? Arithmetic sequence means what? You are adding the same value or decreasing the same value lah. So 1 plus 5, is it plus 5? No. 3 plus 0 plus 0? No. 4 plus 5 become 9. 9 plus 5 become 16? No, it is 14, right? So I know that arithmetic sequence is not really, okay? How about triangular number sequence? Again, you have learned about triangular number sequence, and I think if you look at this, obviously it is nothing about triangular number sequence. So let's look at the next one. Number 4, is there a perfect square pattern? Now, what is perfect square? I know that you know, basically means that 1 square is 1, 2 square is 4, 3 square is 9. So it's like 1, 4, 9, 16, 25, and blah, 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 right? Now, did you notice any perfect square here? Now, if you look at it, you should be able to recognize very clearly, right? This 4 is actually 2 square. 9 is actually 3 square. 16 is 4 square. 25 is 5 square. Now, with that, you should also notice something. But let's go through the steps here. Is there a pattern involving odd and even number? Is there anything like odd number, then it all will be the same? Even number, then it will be the same style? I think there's no clear observation that we found here. So we kind of actually cross out, this is correct, this is cross. Now, as I've told you, after you're done with 5, you must go back up to 1. Is there a link between figure number and the given number? Now, let's look at this. Is there a link between this 1 and probably this 2? 1, how you get 2? Plus 1, correct. 2, how you get 3? Plus 1. 3, how you get 4? Plus 1. 4, how you get 5? Plus 1. Now, did you notice now the pattern? That is what we should recognize. Now, with that, let's look at question B now. Now we have found the pattern, right? What is the total number of square, which is the last row here, in figure 27? Now, if this figure is 27, what would be the number here? Again, we know the start, right? 27, we are supposed to plus 1 to be 28. So your step 21 plus 1, 28. And from this 28, I'm supposed to do what? Square. So 28 square is 784. And yes, that is basically our answer for this 784. Now, I hope you get an idea here. That is how we are looking forward to finding the answer. Now, let's look at the next one. C, a bit tricky now. Find the figure number. Now, I'm looking for this figure number now. If now the total of square is 1369, so 1369. Now, you should have noticed that what we did just now to find the total number of square is that we plus 1. After plus 1, then we what? Then we square. That is what we did to find from the figure number to the total of number of square. But now the problem is if we now are given this square and we need to find the figure number, whatever that we do, we should reverse. Means that we are starting from here, but reverse everything. Now, just now what we did is we plus 1, then square. Now, means that now what we need to do is to square root. What we need to do is to square root. Then we do what? Minus 1. Alright, so square root, then minus 1. So, square root 1369. What did you get? You're supposed to getting 37. And after you have square root, you're supposed to minus 1. I noticed that many students forgot to minus 1. And you're supposed to get 36. Yes, and that's it. We are done for this question. Okay, so I think you get the idea here. take some time for you to think about it again, but this is something we have practiced in the classroom in your booklet R2. Okay, now let's move on to our next one. Repeated identity concept, again, something that we have learned, and this is kind of easy for most of you, but let's look at this question again. Now, the ratio of the mass of flour in bowl X and Y is 1 to 4. Now, as you know, I already told you that ratio basically is the lazy version of unit. Okay, so X is 1 unit, Y is 4 unit. But this ratio guy is very lazy, so he just write 1 to 4. Okay, so you can just write here X to Y, and I know there's another guy called Z, and X to Y is 1 to 4. And that basically means it's 1 unit, and this is 4 unit. Now, the ratio of the mass of Y to Z is 2 to 5. So Y here is 2, Z here is 5. And now you should notice that I'm referring Y, and we're referring to the same Y. But why is there two different number here? And I know that these two numbers are supposed to be the same, but they are not the same. So you're supposed to make it the same. I'm looking for LCM. And the problem is, what is the LCM of 2 and 4? And I know it's supposed to be 2. Why? Because 2 times 2 can give you 4. So if we times 2 here, we times 2 here, and my new ratio is 1, 4, 10. That is basically 1 unit, 4 unit, and 10 unit. Okay, nothing special, but just that I'm lazy to write. That's why we have something called the ratio. Now, next one. Given that the total mass of flour in 3 bowls is 1050 gram, what is the mass of flour in bowl Y? Now, X, Y, Z, I know is 1 unit, 4 unit, 10 unit. Now, what is the total unit then? 1 plus 4 plus 10. I know is 15 unit. And that 15 unit, I know is what? 1050 gram. So 1050. If 15 unit is 1050 gram, then how about 1 unit? Just get your calculator if it's a paper 2 question. To divide. If no, you divide on your own, and you should get 70. And the question now is asking the mass of flour in bowl Y. Now, Y is how many unit? 4. If 1 unit is 70, then how about 4 unit? As you know, 70 times 4, 280. And that's it. We are done. Good. I think it's kind of simple, and let's move on to our next question. Now, if you need more time, feel free to pause on your own. Okay? Now, let's look at equal concept now. Equal concept type 1 common numerator. So let's look at this. I need you to focus because many students get this question wrong. Now, Lenny had 260 less stems than May at first. So now I have this L, I have this M. And what happened is, I know L have 260 less than May. So now, of course, some of you starting drawing model, but let's not hurry first. Let's look at this question, what the question actually wants from us. Lenny gave away 3 out of 7 of a stem. So I know this L gave away 3 over 7. And this M give away 4 over 5. Now, the problem is now this guy give away 3 over 7. This guy give away 4 over 5. Now, if they give away 3 over 7, then what will be the one that is left? If I give 3 out of 7, I will left with 4 out of 7. Correct? Okay? 3 out of 7, I will left with 4 out of 7. And if I give out 4 out of 5, what will be the one that I left with? 1 out of 5. Make sense? Because I give 4 out of 5, right? So I left with 1 out of 5. And now you should know that this 7 actually means what? The total of L. And this 5 means what? Means the total of M. Now, the problem with many of your work is that some of you are making this 7 and this 5 the same. But is it supposed to be the same? Did they say their total are the same? No. They are saying what? The leftover is the same. And some of you are making this 3 and this 4 the same. And that is wrong as well. Why? Because this 3 and 4 is what they give away. And they did not say the giveaway is the same, but they're saying what? the left is the same. This basically tells you that these 4 and this one are supposed to be the same, but they are not the same. You are supposed to make it the same looking for LCM. So what is LCM of 1 and 4? We know is LCM of 1 and 4 is 4. So I know that I'm supposed to times 4 here to make it the same as this 4. And if I times 4 here, I times 4 here. And now I know the new fraction here is 4 out of 20. Now, if you still remember, I've actually reminded you that this 7 is a total of L. This 20 is a total of M. And now, don't forget, L is 260 less than May at first, which is a total, right? So L is actually 260 less than 20. Now, 7, I actually can call it as 7 unit. Now, 7 unit is how many less than 20 unit? We just use 20 unit minus 7 unit, right? I know it's 13 unit less than that. And I know this 13 unit is exactly what I'm referring here, which is the 260. So 13 unit is 260. And if 13 unit is 260, I know that 1 unit is equal to 20. Now, many of you get this 20, but you are doing exactly the wrong thing. Okay? By luck, you get it right. But you should know exactly how you're supposed to do this. Okay? Now, last step. Because once you find 1 unit, everything is easy. Now, last step, find the number of stems that May have at first. Now, May have how many units at first? 20, right? So, if 1 unit is 20, 20 unit is 20 times 20, 400. Okay? 400. And that's it. You are done. Okay, so I think at this point of time, it's not something very difficult, but this is definitely one of the questions that many of you get it wrong because you didn't read the question carefully. Now, let's move on to question 6. Now, let's look at this question. Again, as you can see up here, is equal concept type 2 equal stage before. So, as you can see, C and D, I have C and D, and both of them have an equal number of bits at first. So just do like this, C, D, dot, 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 dot. Then this is the model. Now, I'm not sure why many of you you just leave it blank and you don't want to try. Because this is something we have learned. You know that when it's equal stage before, we can just draw model, okay? Now, what happened is C and D had an equal number of bits at first. As you can see, this is what happened at first. Now, after Chloe used 95 bits, now after I use 95, so I will just cut here, this is 95. And this is what I have used. So, let me just highlight here. This is what I used. So this is gone. Okay? And then D used 15. So I cut here. This is 15. So this D used this 15. Now, at this point of time, I can see clearly that this is what I left, this is what I left, blue color is what I have used. Now, but something I can do is what? I can actually kind of draw a line here, right? This is 95, this is 15. Then can you tell me what is this? This is obviously 95 minus 15, which is 80. So this is 80. Now, the next thing that you should notice here is I'm given this fraction. Here say what? Chloe had 1 out of 5 as many bits as D or Dan. So it means that Chloe have 1 unit, Dan have 5 unit. So this is what happened at the end. So this is 1 unit. So this is 1 unit. And I know this whole thing here is 5 unit. Now, and what you should notice is if here is 1 unit, here's supposed to be 1 unit. And if the whole thing here is 5 unit, here is 1 unit, here are supposed to be 4 unit. So you're supposed to write 4 unit equal to 80. Now, some of you write 5 unit as 80 because you forgot that you're supposed to minus this part. Now, this is something you need to be very careful. Now, if 4 unit is 80, 1 unit is 20. And once you find 1 unit, then everything is easy or simple. Okay? Now, next part. How many bits did they have all together at first? Means I'm looking for the whole bar model here. Now, if you know one unit is 95, one unit is 20, so I can say this is 20, right? So 20 plus 95 is what? Is 115. And since I'm mentioning about all together, means I'm talking about 2%. So your next step, you're supposed to plus, or you just times 2, which is 230. Okay, and that's it. We are done for this question. The next one, let's look at type 3 equal stage after. So actually I'm giving you this title to make it easier for you because you are able to recognize it immediately. But of course, in many situations, you are not given this and you need to identify it yourself. Okay, but basically the keyword is the same, the word the same. Two friends, Aisha and Bong Ken, or A and B, collected a share of cards in the ratio of 9 to 5. After A gave 42, B bought 30 more. They have the same number of game cards. Now, the first thing that I've actually shared with you is that you need to draw the bar model. Okay, you just draw this. Then you just draw equal. And this equal is what happened after. Now the one before you draw before, this is after. Okay, so what happened is from this after, you need to create the situation of the before. Now here says what? After Aisha gave away 42, then they have the same number. So it means that Aisha, after give away 42, then they have the same number. This basically tells you that Aisha at the beginning actually have more. That's why after give away 42, it will be the same, right? So it means that Aisha at first have actually extra 42. Correct. I have extra 42, I give away. That's why I left with this. Now next one, Boong Ken B bought 30 more cards so that they have the same. Means that B actually at first have what? Less. So 30 at first, B actually have lesser, but she bought 30 extra, then they have the same. So this is basically the situation before. Now, something to be a bit clearer, this is what happened before. Before Aisha have this. And before B buy the 30, B actually have this. Now the highlighted yellow part is what happened before. Okay, this is actually before. I mean this right here. Now, and at the beginning, which is before, here we know that the ratio of A and B is what? 9 to 5. So I know this is 9 unit. This is what? 5 unit. Correct. This is 9 unit, this is 5 unit. And with that, you actually should notice what? From here to here is 9 unit, right? So here to here is 5 unit. I actually can somehow say that here to here is actually what? 9 unit minus 5 unit, which is 4 unit. And that 4 unit is 30 plus 42. Of course, some of you might confuse, so you want to draw like this 5 unit, 30. Also can, then here will be 4 unit, which is exactly the same. Okay, so 4 unit is equal to 72. If 4 unit is 72, 1 unit is equal to 80. Clear? Now, this is the interesting part, right? The question now asks, how many game cards were there in total at first? Which is the yellow highlighted part. But of course, I know that total at first, A total have how many? 9 unit, right? B total have how many? 5 unit. So what you are supposed to do is to 9 unit plus 5 unit, which is 14 unit. And if 1 unit is 18, 14 unit is 18 times 14. And the answer is 252. Okay, simple. And that's it. We are done for this question. Okay, let's move on to our last 3 questions before we end with this video. Now, remainder concept type 1. Again, this is one of my favorite remainder concept. Now, you are supposed to make sure you understand this because this is very, very important. Okay, this is one of the basics fraction question that you can receive. Now, here say that the ratio of the mass of sugar, flour in the pantry was 1 to 5. And as you know, if they write 1 to 5, basically means 1 unit and 5 unit. So I can draw the model just like this. La, la, la. And I cut into how many parts? 6 parts. Why? Because I have 1 unit for sugar, 5 unit for flour. So of course I need to cut into 6, right? So 1 belongs to sugar, and these 5 belongs to flour. Now, and what happened? Look at it, something important. After half of the sugar were used for baking. Now, sugar, I have how many units? 1. But here say what? 1 out of 2 of the sugar. Means that sugar here are expected to have 2. Then I use 1. Correct? So what am I supposed to do? I'm supposed to cut into half. And if I cut here, I'm supposed to cut here. And out of these 2, now it makes sense already, right? Out of these 2, this is what I use. And of course, if I use this, then this is what I left with, right? Okay, very good. Next one, there was 750 grams of both ingredients left. I mean, do you know? I don't know, right? I mean, I don't know how to draw this, so I just leave it there. Oh, I almost forgot. Here say what? 3 out of 5 of the flour were used for baking. Now, here is saying that I have 5 units of flour. But here I have how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10. Here say 10, here say 5. Of course, these 2 are supposed to be the same, but they're not the same. So you're supposed to make it the same, looking for LCM. So 5 times what? 2. So it will be 6 out of 10. Why? Because now out of 10, I know I have 6. That is what I use it for baking. So this is what I use, and this 4 is what I left. Now I can actually see very clearly, right? What did I see? Here, 750 grams of both ingredients left altogether. Means that this and this is actually that 750. Now, can you tell me how many units are here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's 5 units. That's why that means that 5 unit is 750 grams. And 5 unit is 750 grams, then 1 unit is equal to 150. And once you find 1 unit is equal to 150, everything is simple. Last part, how many sugar and flour was there at first? Means that I'm basically asking for every single thing. So how many units here do we have here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So I have total of 12 units. And if 1 unit is 150, 12 unit is 150 times 12, 1800. Okay, that's it, and we are done. Now, let's move on with question number 9. This is type 2, give you value first. Now, here says that Ariel had a collection of beads. She used 140 beads to make necklaces on Monday. So, I don't know 140 is how many units, so I'll just la. This will be 140. And this is what I do on Monday. Now, on Tuesday, she used 1/4 of the remaining beads. Now, I'm talking about remaining. This is what I've already done. So, the remaining here, what I do is I have 4 units. And out of this 4 units, I use that 1 unit to make a bracelet. Okay, this is necklaces. This is Tuesday lah, okay? Now, what happened? This is what I left. But the question says what? The number of beads she had left was 2 out of 5 of what she has at first. And this is actually very important for you to take note. If I say what I left is 2/5 of what she had at first, this means that I left with 2 units. At the beginning, I have how many units? 5 units. Now, again, that creates a confusion. Teacher, what I left is 2 units, but what I left here is 3 units. We are referring to the same thing, but the unit is different. So I know that these 2 are supposed to be the same, but they're not the same. So you're supposed to make it the same by looking for LCM. And that tells you what? the LCM of 2 and 3 is 6. So 2, 5, and must times 3 to become what? 6 over 15. So this one's supposed to be 6 unit. This one's supposed to be 15 unit. And from this part, this 3, I'm supposed to cut into 2. Because 3 times 2 is 6 ma. So I cut into 2, 2, of course here 2. Here is the 140, right? So I cannot cut. So as you can see here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now, when your leftover is 6, your total is supposed to be what? 15. But teacher, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This is only 8 unit. Where is the leftover? Because the total is supposed to have 15 unit ma. So I know that the leftover will be this side. So 15 unit minus 8 unit is what? 7 unit. So this is actually the 7 unit. So 7 unit is 140. If 7 unit is 140, 1 unit is equal to 20. Very good. And once you find 1 unit is 20, everything is simple. Last part. How many bits did Ariel have at first? Means at the beginning, how many do we have? And this is what we need to now count everything. But of course, I know here total is 15 already. I don't need to count anything. Okay, so 1 unit is 20. So 15 unit is 15 times 20, 300. Okay? And yeah. Yes, and we are done for this remainder concept for this part. Okay, now let's move on and look at our next question here. Okay, remainder concept type 3 a little bit more. Now, many of you like this because it's kind of simple for you. So let's look at this question. Now, a collection of bookmarks was shared among 3 students A, B, and C. Now, I have a collection of bookmarks, so I don't know. So I just would draw back. Okay, I have a collection of bookmarks. Now, what happened is Ahmad A actually received 1/4 of the bookmark plus how many more? 9 more. Now, if I give Ahmad 1/4 plus 9 more, what is my remainder? If I give 1 out of 4, I'll left with 3 out of 4. Correct. If I give him extra 9 more, of course I will left with the 9. And from this remainder, Brian actually do what? Brian actually receive 1 out of 3 of it plus how many more? 10 more. If I give Brian 1 out of 3 plus 10 more, then of course I will left with what? What's my remainder? 2/3 minus 10. And of course, since I'm sharing this with A and B and C, A already have, B already have, and this is what I left for C. Now the question here says what? If C is receiving 70, the remaining 70, which means that this is actually equal to what? 70. Now how many bookmarks were there at first? Means that I'm looking for this part. And as you know, you are supposed to walk backwards. Again, I'm start from where? 70. Then I'll just move backwards following this route. Okay? So starting from 70, I'm moving backwards. Okay? So from here we walk. If I walk backwards, all the operation that we are doing, we are supposed to reverse. So 70, walk, 70, I'm supposed to do what? Plus 10. Why? Because I'm reversing every single thing. So 70 plus 10 is 80. And walk, 8. I'm supposed to divide by 2. Very good. Divide by 2. Because I'm reversing every single action. Then I times 3. So, as you know, it's 120. And I continue walk, 8. Minus 9, I'm supposed to plus 9. So 120 plus 9. So it's 129. And walk, 8. I'm supposed to divide by what? I'm supposed to divide by 3 and times 4. And your final answer is what? 172. Why? Because you walk, and you get the answer already. It's 172. Okay, so that is basically for remainder concept type 3 a little bit more. So we have practiced 4 questions actually inside your booklet for this type of question. So again, we have actually done 1 question for each of the concept we learned from booklet R2. Okay, again, there are many more different, more harder questions there, but we're doing something that's actually kind of basic, nothing very tricky, because all of this is something you have practiced. So please make sure you know and understand how these things work, so you can do your best in maybe coming year exam, because many of these questions will be there to help you to learn. Okay, and of course that's it. We are done, and thank you. See you. Bye bye.